Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session of Chat with Chamindra. And today I have another special guest in Akhila Seneviratne. We are two guys who have a lot of things in common. And if I give a small introduction to Akhila, is we went to the same school, right? That's the first thing, and we love the same kind of sports. And he's a uh, how can I say, data engineer in profession, right? I'm a data engineer in profession, and he has this very cool website called the sidelines.lk, and he does this writing very nice articles. I'm a big fan of his writing, and I read them whenever he publish articles. So Akila, before we go on to a very interesting and very exciting topic to many fans of what we all both like, can you give introduction about yourself? Let's make
Yes,
a
I
start
think,
from there.
thank you, Chamindra, for inviting me on your channel. And yes, you got you touched upon like everything that would be relevant to me and as things that we are in common. Yes, but I think I'm very much younger than you, though we went to college. Yes, so. So uh, 27 years old, working as a data engineer at South Asian Technologies. But I, on the side, have been like really passionate with sports writing. So it started from my university days at University of Murali, which had the platform called Mora Spirit. So that was the start. Then during university was when I started to freelance at papare.com. And then post COVID, I made a move to Sri Lanka sports.com. And yes, so it's been a great journey for like 3 years. So as actually like tomorrow the organization is celebrating the 25th anniversary. So my
Oh,
editor
super.
just dropped a message to suggest some times to post our videos. And yeah, I think I
Yeah.
feel like I have gained a lot of experience in working in those organizations, and with that
Hmm.
encouragement, I started the sidelines, which I felt that there is something that feel I have, which I like to share with everyone, and I don't I don't want to like do the same things which other people normally do. Always it's like a personal challenge for me. It's about how I can better than myself yesterday. So that's basically who I am as a person. And yes, we do enjoy cricket, so I think we will get back on to our main topic, and I'm ready for the next question.
Yeah. Super, super, Akhila. So, what we are going to talk about is today, we'll straight away get into that because it's a very interesting topic. So, we are, as cricket fans, right? We are, Akhila being the person who knows about all the numbers and lot of things. I mean, more than myself, I feel he knows a lot of things, and he does a lot of research. So, what we are going to do is we are doing the Australian cricket team is coming for a test series at the end of this month. So after just beating India, which is many of us are really happy about, Sri
Yeah.
Lankan cricket fans. So what we thought of doing here today was some discuss about a few memorable performances in Australia Sri Lanka Test series. So there are a few things I also wanted to share as well, but I want to get Akila's feedback and think of what he thinks about the top performances, and we are going to talk about a few things about that. It's a very interesting topic and very exciting one. So uh, we'll start from there. So uh, Akila, how about you starting? I mean, let's start with what do you think, what are the best performances, and let's see, and we'll take discussion from there onwards. I know both, there are a lot of individual performance as well as team performances. So let's go with what you, from your point of view, what are the best performances from the Australia Sri Lanka Test history and series that have already happened. Yeah,
Yeah, so like normally I am the kind of person who likes to like analyze a lot in the numbers, but due to like I think due to certain like personal reasons, I play cricket as well, like for my office team.
yeah,
And yesterday, like what happened was like we went to the place and it started raining, and then that washed off, so I come back
yeah,
home, try to see what I can do. So yeah, and yeah, then just before this this chat, I just had some visitors, so I just heard them go. But I just had a small thing. But yeah, for me, I think personally, I don't think I have been able to do the homework I have been, wanted to, do as such. But
yeah,
let's, there's when it comes to Sri Lanka, Australia, I think one thing I really, you know, like talking about its history, because
yeah.
Australia used to, visit Sri Lanka before the Ashes, that
I see.
in England. So
Yeah,
so if you're talking about its history, we need to go back to the early 90s when
I
uh,
see.
if I'm correct, it was in first in 1930 when Don Bradman first came to Sri Lanka, and that was I think that was played in. Uh, I think fun fact. I think it's now presently the Vihara Mahadevi grounds. So that
I see.
cricket ground does not exist anymore. But
I see.
according to the sources that are there, that was where the Australia first played Sri Lanka, and there were like that's what has been recorded, and there have been like that's what. So mostly it was like Australia visiting Sri Lanka during the ferry stops, and I think it was a cycle of every 4 or 8 years, because it was like if the Ashes is played every like yeah every 2 years, and it depends on the cycle, and so it has been starting like that. And I also got this T-shirt before the Sri Lanka Australia ODI ODI match in 2023, I believe. That was
Yes.
or was it? No, it was. I think it was 23, because I do really remember, because that was actually like
Mm.
a really memorable, match. That was the one when Katu Misanka scored his 132, which comes to
I see.
the uh, you know the fact that I think Sri Lanka have contested against Australia on home turf really well, but might not share the same fortunes when they are playing in Australia.
In
And
Australia.
so
Correct.
and but you can't ignore like the like very famous matches like that happened on Boxing Day, and like both the one that was in 1989, where Sana Jayasuriya made his ODI debut. Then you have the one where Boxing Day 1995, where the Test match in particular. Actually, the
Yeah.
Test match is what we are going to start uh, as first. So excuse me if I'm getting the mixing up the formats, but
No
just
worries.
the whole point is like like I think we have a really really rich history when it comes to playing against Australia in first class cricket, because Test cricket came much later, and
So,
it was I think it's called first class cricket because the match didn't last for 5 days, and
mm,
Sri Lanka was not a test playing country at the time, and now. you have it as I mean, and also we can't forget that like it was Sri Lanka and Australia until the 2000 and until the 2015 uh, no, not 2015, until the 2019 World Cup final,
19.
like period from 1996 to 2090, that during that period, that was like the only time like neither Australia or Sri Lanka were in a final. And we are talking of a really fierce rivalry that used to be there in the present, especially during the times of Arjun Rantunga, and then it extended to Mahela Jayawardene, Ricky Ponting. Those are the captaincy era. So like it's like uh, I think when you think of like Australia, that we used to be a country that we saw eye to eye with them, and we are going to play against you in the final. So
Yeah.
that's the kind of like
It used to.
intensity. I think even before personally, personally, what I think before the the hype of uh, goodness, I having an internet connection issue because it does show in mine. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, if I am audible, I think that is the most important thing. So yes, so
Yeah,
uh, coming back to the topic on fierce rivalry, I think before things got really heated up between India and Australia for the border Gavaskar series, I think Shane the
yeah,
Murali trophy. Yes, and totally forgot about the fact that each country had their best test bowlers. Because each of them were competing to become the highest wicket taker in those
yeah.
in those
True.
formats, also added to the fierce rivalry that we used to have. So I think Sri Lanka
Yeah.
Australia in a nutshell is something that used to be. So I hope that I think Sri Lanka can get back on track and bring go back to the old days where we used to see with them eye to eye as a really fierce competitor.
I think, but you are exactly correct. And I think whenever we play Australia, the best of the Sri Lankan team comes out. I think the best
Yes,
version. It has always happened. They play really well. Other than any other team, they play really well against Aussies. I think that
I
Aussie mentality, gets into the other guys as well. So they want to do
yes,
better and beat Australia. I think there was a time, every team wanted to beat Australia. Like they are the team that everybody wanted to beat. So even Sri Lanka, they had that same mentality. I think the same thing, and I think that helped us to win some great matches as well. You told about the matches around that we had, and even that T20 series where Akhila Seneviratne hit those sixers and won that match.
yes,
That
yes,
even that
yes.
even that also created that we came out of nowhere and won those matches.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think so that
The
I mean
yeah,
that extra mile is coming, extra
I must
stretch is coming. I think.
I must also remind. I think that match where Akhila Seneviratne single-handedly changed the game was, I think, yes, that was the last time Sri Lanka came to Australia and won a series of that particular format. So it's been
Yeah,
that quite many years since Sri Lanka. Actually, that was I'm talking about T20 series outside Sri Lanka in Sena countries. So that was some. I think that was a stat. I think it was last year about how we are yet to win a T20 series outside of Sri Lanka in a Sena country since that particular match. So
true.
yes, I completely forgot the T20 format as well. So yes, so what you said is really true about the. I think Sri Lanka is a team that okay. So I don't think we had a fierce rivalry against Australia as against other countries. I'm talking about like
True.
in the past. And what you said is true. It's not about how many matches that have been won. Obviously, Australia has gotten the better of us. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, had more times than Sri Lanka. But I think the fact that we weren't willing to give up and produce some like really really memorable performances. It's something
True.
that if you're talking T20 series, I think if you're talking about Akhila Seneviratne, I think you will be remembering how Dasun Chanaka like single-handedly
Yeah. True.
uh, took the game away in Palle Calais
Yeah.
2022
Yeah.
in the home crowd. Yes, if the series was lost, but I think when you look at the single-handed performance that was there, it was like really
True.
memorable. So as I said,
True.
like
True.
it's the the memories are there, and
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
thing that you really look forward to
Yeah.
when you are playing against Australia as compared to other
Australia.
countries.
Yeah. If you can remember, I'm not sure if you have watched this match. If you can remember the Champions Trophy, the 2002 one, Aussies were very dominating. They won every match and they lost the semi to the Sri Lanka in Ketaram.
I
They
think
had no chance there.
I was definitely way too small to even remember that. I wasn't even quite in college. I only started schooling in 2003. But yeah, I think for
Yeah.
someone like you, I think it was really would be really memorable. But to be
Yeah.
honest,
So
I
that
mean, I
series
could
was like that because I'll tell
that's
you a
the
small
I
example
haven't
there.
even
Yeah.
that's a thing I haven't even like started to watch cricket. But the fact that you
Yeah.
remember the
You should
1996.
definitely watch
I
the
think
highlights of that match. It's there
that
on
is
YouTube.
probably
Yeah.
one of the matches that should be, but because for me, I think like Australia would automatically the first memories you think about is the 2007 World Cup final where
Yeah.
Adam Gilchrist very like
True.
single-handedly just smacked the Sri Lanka with a squash ball in his hand, and I think it was like super controversial, just like the Murali chucking incident. This was super controversial,
Yeah.
using a foreign or not like a non-cricketing object um, as part of your cricketing gear, but uh, the rules didn't quite specify that it was not allowed. So, uh, you know, uh, it is what it is, and yeah, it definitely has a certain sting in the minds of the Sri
Yeah.
Lankan fans, especially those who like remember it really well.
True. That's true because I think Aussies knew. I think it from what I've seen as well. Aussies knew that sometimes they can't beat us through just the game itself. They need to do some sledging and those things. They felt that that's how they can intimidate the Sri Lankans to win a match. I think that mentality has come to the current team as well. You must have seen in the Border Gavaskar Trophy as well. What they did was with Constas was they tried to get the attention to him and they carried on the performance from the other side. So they do those mental
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
and India fell to that trap. And I think they will
Yes.
come with a plan to us as well when they come this year.
Personally, I don't think they would really come hard at us as much as they
Because
came against
that's
India.
this India, right? Yeah,
Number one, they have already qualified for the WTC
true.
final, and what they say, this is more of like a warm up game to play outside of Australia. Even though the final we played at Lords, I think especially when it comes to like cricketers who are only playing Test cricket, this is like an opportunity to play in a
True.
slightly more challenging surface. But we know they have experience on their backs, and there are a few notable absentees. I think Pat Cummins has said
True.
that he will not be coming for the series, and I believe Josh Hazelwood is also
He's not
having
there. He's not there.
certain
Yeah.
certain uh, injury, but I think given when the WTC final be happening, I think that's more than enough of a period, to recover back and probably experiment with the youngster or two with the fast bowling attack. And yeah, that is definitely there because they will be definitely tested for their their ability to play against spin. And also another thing, I think Sri Lankans are not too noisy at the moment because they are not the kind of team that wants to get under the skin of other teams
Yeah.
unless they are provoked. So I think for now, I assume I think yeah, Dhananjay this year as a captain has a very calm demeanor. So I
Yeah.
don't expect the same intensity, but I think it will be just limited only towards the match
Yeah.
because it's a yeah, I believe that will be his first. That will be his first game against Australia as the Sri Lanka captain. Uh, I
Yeah.
believe that because he took over the captaincy from the Ireland series and we did not. I believe we didn't play uh, against Australia in a test game.
No, no, we didn't do
After
it. Yeah.
that, that was
After
because
that, we did.
because they came in 2023. It was they only
Yeah.
played the uh, white ball, so uh, that is something that's a new challenge, and I think there's something to look forward to in the one trophy.
Yeah. Definitely. What I also felt was now with these guys coming, and actually, I really wanted to see Constas playing. I mean, if it was in Colombo, I would have definitely go and seen him. Constas, even these they have some nice spinners as well. This Cooper Connolly is a nice spinner. I mean, he's a good cricketer, and they came from the under 19 teams, right? So they molded and came back, and they have graduated to the main team. So they are sending some nice, good guys. Let's see, it would be a memorable series. Going back to
Yeah,
the past, I'm not sure if you remember the Jason Gillespie Steve Waugh incident. Have you read about it? Where they got knocked down. We were won that test match. Do you remember that? Have you heard about it?
um, which
99
is still
series, 1999,
99.
where we won. Yeah,
That's
two.
uh, this is not the one where I think this is not the one where like Jason Gillespie scored a very big inning, right? Not that one,
No,
right?
no, 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 no. In this
That's a
one,
different.
what happened was this is different one.
Yeah,
What happened was in that series. That's one of the memorable series because that series we won in Sri Lanka 1 year, and these guys got came for a catch and faced head on. They had a head on collision. Steve
yeah,
Waugh and
yeah.
Jason Gillespie.
Sorry, sorry. When I heard knocked, I didn't hear the word, but
But
knocked. Actually,
okay,
there is a very funny incident that actually happened because I don't think Vedi is quite uh, like appropriate, but I think it was
yeah,
some that there was supposed to be. So there was it was in Sinhala though, so I can't really translate it to the exact moment
what
in
is it?
the memory, but I think it was something like that. I think the nurse had commented on who the more handsome one was, and
Okay,
I think there was a like a small some like one of them had a really bad nose, so I think
yeah, yeah. I think it's
with that
Steve Waugh. Steve Waugh was the
yeah,
one who
so
had this
yes,
nose issue. Yeah.
Steve then Steve I got really upset with his teammate that it's like it should have been me, but you broke my nose kind of thing. But yeah, it
And
was a very
incidentally, yeah,
yes, yes.
incidentally, that was the test match we won in that series. The other two has been got drawn. So they were drawn and we won the series. And that was a very big turning point. So that was one of the memorable ones, I think. I think maybe people who have seen, because I think I also didn't watch it live, but I heard that these guys, two guys, got knocked and they were both injured, and that was a very big turning point for that series. I mean, Aussies like to blame those things on Sri Lanka as well. No, our best players got injured. That's why you won the series. They like like that. That things are there.
Yeah.
So, so that is one thing that happened. And after that, but they came hard at us after that series. The next home series, we got whitewashed 3-0. They came with the best team, and uh, if I'm not mistaken, that's when Warne took his 500th Test wicket as well
Yes,
in that series.
that was he came. I think he took about 8 wickets in that match. I
You know?
think because then the 800 wicket, sorry, not 800, 500 wicket was Hashan Tilakaratne, and uh, that was a memorable match for him because that's where he got the milestone, and also the key reason why he wanted to rebuild the Galle Cricket Stadium, because it was the place that had a very sentimental value, because that was when
For
it
him as
came
well, no?
after
Yeah,
a ban, and
true.
and then he made the comeback there. So I think he had a certain urge to do something in the place that brought him back into cricket.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and he was
that's
very
that thing
unplayable.
is
I
also
think
there.
recently watched the highlights. He was unplayable. I think the
Yeah, same
guy.
here.
I think
Yes, it was.
yeah. I mean, you know, I think I'm not sure. Not I'm not 100% sure. I don't think any Sri Lankan batsman got 100 in that series. I think the highest score is around 80s or 90s. No one got 100. If I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong
I think our
because we were all out. We in all the matches we got all out. I think nothing. We were.
yes, and
It was totally a disaster of a series. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Murali also took wickets, but Warne did better.
yes, but Vaughan took more. That
Yeah,
was the game changer there.
and we cannot forget. I think even I also haven't watched that match. I just read it, the '92 match. Yeah, he turned the match in a few overs and we lost the match. That could have been a draw. Kaluwitharana's first Test century. That was a match that we should have won actually. But from newspapers, whatever it I've seen in the highlights as well from here and there. Uh, that was a match. He also reserved some of his best performance to Sri Lanka. I think. What?
Yeah,
He-
there were things like that.
Yeah, his nemesis was England. He did well against England. I think next was Sri Lanka.
Yeah, I think Sri Lanka was entirely. It was more of like a mind game sort of thing, because the Sri
Yeah,
Lankans,
he never sledged, right? He never sledged. I think he never sledged. I think
not
he
quite
did it.
sledge. I think it was. I think it was Arjuna who said that he's a very ordinary bowler as such.
Mm.
It kind of makes sense because, like, Warren was not as successful in ODI cricket as he were in Test. So, I think that
Yeah, true.
kind of got into him, and that's we are talking about 1996, the World
Yeah,
Cup,
yeah.
different thing. But
In
as you
that match,
said,
he was very ordinary. Actually, he did well in
the
the semi. He did well in the semi against the West Indies,
yes.
but he lost the plot against Sri Lanka. I think that was,
Yes,
I think,
just a classic example of opposition
yeah.
getting better of you.
But the skill of the man again, he came back in the '99 World Cup and did it. So see the how the Aussie mentality works, isn't it?
Yes.
So that is that. How about in Sri Lankan players? What are your thoughts about Sri Lankan players from Aussie series? I'm over Test series wise. I think Kaluwitharana has a century. Um, Sanath has done well. Not a lot though. No? I think from Kusal Mendes got his 100 against Aussies, right? He also got that 100 on debut against Aussies, right? That 170 odd,
Um.
if I'm not mistaken.
The
Was it
hundred
against
and
Aussies?
seventy.
not mistaken. Might
I
have to look at that. But
that's the thing. I don't want to comment on it without properly like verifying that okay he
true.
got against this, but there was quite a big knock because I know for the
Yeah,
one that came against I think Bangladesh. That was that was like the closest he came to a double century, but uh,
yeah.
or it was either New Zealand or Australia, but somehow it was a good country
Not
that he
sure.
played
But
against.
overall, I think I was just looking up some stats, right? I was just looking at some stats uh, from a batting point of view. I obviously bowling wise, Warne and Murali has been the best, and I, from what I've seen, Glenn McGrath haven't done really well against us. He has not played a lot of test matches against us as well. He has not
The
performed well against
Yeah,
us.
there is a I think I mean if there is a very no that sorry I got the bowler wrong actually, not just Glenn McGrath, but I think Brett Lee too also shares similar experiences
Hmm.
with
True.
McGrath because I think there is a very famous story like which was resurfaced time and time again of a discussion. I think it was during the IPL where he always mentioned that the slower ball never works against him against Sri Lanka because there was
I
always
see.
somebody on the non-striker end to observe the finger position
Uh,
uh, of him. And yeah, that's a just another classic example of always being one step ahead of the opponent, and that particular incident was it just adds more flavor to the whole Sri Lanka Australia rivalry.
I see. It's super. But I think from our guys, even I think this series might be the best indicator. The current series, the best indicator who is. I mean, from a average point of view, who has performed well against the Aussies. I think from the current crop, Kamindu Mendes is the one who has the highest average. He has
Yes,
61
yes,
average because he had got that inning. So he has the best average against Aussies as well. Um, Even now, from a strike rate point of view, from bowler Prabha Jayasuriya will be licking his lips again because he had a great series last time out. This time as well, I think our guys will make a rank turn definitely in goal. Although there's nothing to gain from a, but beating the Aussies will be again fast to be considering the our future of Test cricket has been really
yeah, yeah,
sad
and
for the next few
yeah,
years. Yeah, and coming off after a very difficult series against the South Africans, I think definitely our guys will want to beat the Aussies and prove a point. At the moment, the number one team in the world. So I think that something they will do. So there are a few other things. And what other things comes to your mind? I mean, there are so
and
many performances. I mean,
yeah,
there are
and
some very
there's
difficult teams.
yes, I think there's one performance I like to recall is how Rangana Herath in 2018 almost single-handedly let's bowl his way in the fourth innings of Australia and just really castle them to a very low score, and that series we won 3-0 at goal.
I
So
say,
that
yeah,
was
yeah, definitely.
that was I think in my opinion, that was one of the peak performances by
True.
the aging Rangahera just be like very close upon his retirement, like just just
100%.
just like because I mean I think those who know me personally would know I'm a huge Ranganahera fan because like since small days I think he is someone who resembled me in terms of height in a way because and also like his the way like because he was
Left arm
like
spinner,
left arm
all the
spinning he was
things.
I mean he doesn't have the most beautiful of actions but the I think
But
it's
less
the way
controversial, right? Because
the
in an
the
age where
way
all the bowlers were having controversial issues related to bowling action and everything, he didn't have any controversy.
No,
He was
no,
just
because
bowling like that.
he had a very, let's say, it's, I think he has a very simple action that it's like the things that he was able to, like, get the ball to do, like whether it's like whether he uses a slider or the carrom ball, or his Ranganahera in that series was just like really really memorable. And yeah, he just like, we got, it was like really beautiful
Yeah.
to watch.
And we should admire, I mean, Angelo Matthews' best series as a captain as well. He did it really well. I think he captained the side really well. And I think if you are going to ask him what is the best series he won as a captain, he will definitely say this, I think. Uh, Apart from that
I
England series.
but
Yeah,
I think that's a bit of a tricky one, because if you are talking about industrial, I think the 2014
England
series
series. He
where
will come. He will
England
take that,
will,
right?
I think,
Yeah,
personally, I think because the fact that you beat England in England the first time in Sri
yeah,
Lanka
yeah,
history, that should be the icing on the top,
yeah,
than beating Australia at home. But certainly that
yeah,
would be like one of the most memorable performance, like
yeah,
memorable moments as a captain. But you can't really take that up. But just
yeah,
the thought from Matthew's perspective.
yeah. I might be wrong. I think Aussies have not got whitewash after that series. I think they haven't got white
No, no,
for a test
that,
match.
and I think that was also like the last time for quite some. Actually, if I'm that was the last time Sri Lanka played a three-match test series until last year we played against England. So that
Yeah,
was like last time Sri Lanka played three test matches in a row, and for quite a long time we never got the got more than two test matches. So that's another important point.
yeah. It's a sad state as well. We
Yes,
deserve three
I
match
think
series.
but for me personally, I think moving forward, uh, test cricket should not only be limited to the big three, because if the new
Yeah,
proposal to have two different divisions,
definitely.
because I mean, if we are still in that division, we should also be able to play like three, at least three test matches. Five would never happen, but I think
Five would never happen.
three three, because look here, like nowadays you never, almost like drawn matches almost never happen unless it is
Correct.
interrupted by rain. So you are
100%.
bound to have a result within the 5 days of test matches in this current period. So because of that, having three test matches will be really interesting, because you like, just like in ODI, you will always have uh, you
Yeah,
know
decider. Decider,
a
right?
decider. So
Yeah,
I
decider.
think we really, like, if we are like, to move forward in the game, we definitely need to have three match test series. Otherwise we are like not really going anywhere in the format.
Definitely.
Otherwise, we only
Definitely.
have four matches this entire year, so that's
Yeah.
really sad, especially for the test specialists. So you can
Yeah.
understand Angela Matthews' frustration, like not just him, like you have
True.
Prabhat Jayasuriya, Dinesh Chandimal. Um, those are like the test. Tim Karnaratne, the test specialist, in the team. Like just four matches in the entire year, and
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen afterwards. Maybe we might want add a series or two against countries who are not in the top tier. You
Yeah.
never know.
But I think as a team, I think we are drifting away from the topic a bit. But I think we must have to prove ourselves as a test team as well. I think because our
Yes,
performance doesn't reflect the
yes, we need
need
to.
for us to get test matches,
Yes,
right?
I think
To
we need to
perform.
perform in order to have a say in something. So
Yeah. Otherwise,
I
it's
think yes,
because people will not notice us. I mean, just think. I might be very blunt here and I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Bangladesh deserves a higher position than us at the moment because they play some really good cricket in test cricket, I'm saying, because they have performed really well and they have some good players as well. I mean, if we take a Bangladesh Sri Lanka series, I think it's coming this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yes,
That
yes.
would be a very, very good series to judge where we are as a team because that team has got really gelled and become a really tough team to beat, Bangladesh, away from home as well as at home. So they have performed really well away from home. They won against Pakistan, won in West Indies. So it's a team that is really, I mean, really tough to beat. I mean, really tough. And let's see how that goes. I mean, it's not easy for us, but we have to show the performance to get something from the ICC for our sake. I
Definitely.
mean, for,
You, yeah, it's like there's a thing of yeah, it's be careful what you wish for. So
definitely
I think performance also needs to reflect
reflect the need.
for
Yeah,
the need, because if you're, I think once you start playing a good cricket, then I think other countries will be more interested to okay, we go for three
yeah,
matches kind of thing.
super. Great, Akhila, great. So let's, before we conclude, I mean, let's see, um, who do you think will perform in the coming series from a Sri Lankan point of view? And what do you think from a result point of view, what do you think sort of a result we can expect?
Yeah, so I
Just
think from Sri Lanka's, I think two names that easily come to my mind. I think one is Jayasuriya, who has been like really good playing at goal. I think he's already captured 100 wickets, and I think it's more of like because he's only playing Test cricket, so I think I really look forward for him to have a good run. I think he can easily capture close to 20 wickets or more, like maybe 17 plus. Let's keep a safe number, 17 wickets, because
yeah,
getting Australian wickets, really kind of has a lot of value. So that's one thing. And also, I really look forward to seeing Kamidu Mendes keep continuing his good form in Test cricket. Been a while, and he did struggle a little bit with white ball cricket.
hence,
So I hope that that does not happen to him in the Test series. So I really look forward to him. Another okay, and another name I really look forward to performing well is Pathum Nisanka, who has done
yeah.
regardless of the opposition or venue he plays in, he has delivered most of
He's
the
like
time.
the alpha male in the team, right?
Yes,
Alpha
I
male. I
think
think he performs in
yeah, that
everywhere.
yeah, I think he's personally he's the kind of like, I think I really like his don't care attitude. Like when I
Yeah,
say don't care
100%.
attitude, he lets his back into the talking. It's not like he has a lot to say, but he really makes his actions count. So I
And
hope that
doesn't show any emotions as well. No? Doesn't show
yeah,
any
he's
emotions.
I
And he's
think that's,
very
but the way he bats, it really says a lot. Like he doesn't
definitely,
really care what comes
definitely.
at him. If it's there to hit, I'll hit it. So and he has been like striking pretty well at a slightly higher pace in Test cricket as of recent. Like I think if you remember the the century he scored against England was very much run a ball. So if he's able to produce that kind of innings in England,
Yeah,
I think it kind of makes you know uh, him on the top of his game, and
yeah.
I hope he has recovered because
From his injury. Yeah,
uh,
no? Yeah.
he had an unfortunate injury during the match. But if he was sent to bat again, I assume that he has done too much damage. just the day. So I hope nothing much has happened. And but I also like to see Batum, take his time a little bit, because I feel like his mindset is very different. So it would be very different. If it would be interesting to see whether it takes a defensive approach or an attacking approach against
Approach.
Australia. So he's another name I look forward to. Um, I think Dimur eight tests. He's reaching the 100 if he plays the
Yeah,
second case. And at the same time, it's been a long time since he has reached three figures. So and given the fact that we don't have a lot of test cricket after that, I hope he understand his role in the team. And uh,
definitely.
well, Angelo Matthews also has the capability to deliver it when it's really needed.
Yeah,
uh, but I hope that that he shows that he still has it. Otherwise, this is definitely a very decisive series for both the senior
player.
members of the team.
Same.
And
Correct.
yeah, and also like Dinesh Chandimal, who had the purple patch in 2023, where I think he whacked Mitchell Stark out of the park for his double century. Another
We should
very
not forget that.
we
That's
should
the
not
thing.
forget that that was another really memorable thing. Like I think it was a 466, and he just really went at it. That was like Chandimas.
I was going to touch that actually. I
Yeah,
totally
but
want to
luckily that
touch
was
the
mentioned, because those are definitely the news I look forward to.
definitely a magic
In,
moment. I mean,
yes,
getting
it's
Mitchell
yes,
Marsh out of the ground is like goodness. And that I think that last 100 was scored in a session. I mean, he played
yeah,
like
yeah. It
um,
was
like he played like peak Adam Gilchrist there, the right-handed version.
yes,
So that was a superb one. We should definitely not forget that.
yes.
So another thing I was going to say, Prabhat will be licking his lips because there was a top order. All the top four, I think, all are right-handers, right? I think there's no left hand in from the top four,
No, no, no,
isn't it? No.
no.
Khawaja
Because
is there. Khawaja is there,
sorry,
but I'm not sure if
I think
Khawaja will
Khawaja didn't. I don't think Khawaja played in the Sri Lanka series in 2022. Correct me if I'm
he
wrong.
played. He played. He
Okay,
played. He played.
because
Not a huge much of a performance
not
there.
didn't
Mm.
perform that much, because that was
Yeah.
definitely a series where Travis Head performed well as a bowler.
Yeah.
So
I'm
that
looking forward to see Travis Head though. I
I'm
think
wondering what he's gonna do this time as well, because he's you
he
know
hasn't done
uh,
well against us. He hasn't done well against us.
not
He hasn't.
like
Yeah.
I'm saying, not as a maybe not as a batter like he does in India, but as a bowler
Yeah.
he has uh you know just taken some. I think it was 4 for 10, which was that I remember pretty
Yeah.
well, because I think you are like fuming at fuming from home, like how can we get
Getting
so
out for a part time.
for a part-time bowler, right? So that's also there. So yes, definitely has a lot of memories
Yeah.
when it comes to this kind of series, and
Yeah.
that's something to look forward to. And
Yeah, that's the thing.
yeah, and I think
From a
another, yeah, and not only just Constance, because he's like the new kid in town, but I
yeah.
think another batter who you know would be tested is Manas Labushang, because I don't think he performed. I don't think he performed the last time we.
Last
Uh,
time he got 100. He got a
okay.
hundred. Yeah,
Then in that
but
case, okay, because that there was a time when he was playing really well in Australia, but not outside of Australia. So
yeah.
uh, that
I
was like
mean, that was the only inning he performed in Sri Lanka. Only that 100.
okay.
Only
Then
that
and
100.
another
But
name
then he
like
couldn't.
Steve Smith, only very well, like the 100 he came scored against India, like showed that he still has it in him, because that's why he's um I can't quite remember whether it's Joe Root or Steve Smith who has more hundreds. I think One has 34 and the other has 33. Steve Smith scored his 34th.
Yeah.
Uh, um, I think Joe
If I'm
Root,
not mistaken, still Joe Root has it now. No, he has the record. He has it more.
yeah, because it's like really, really close. I think only
Really close.
one test century difference that is there. Um,
But
so
see
yeah.
the strike rate of Steve Smith. I mean, Joe Root had the purple patch, but Smith was consistent. He had a bad Dean run, but I mean, if he was in the same form, he could have got 40 hundreds by now. Because of his slump, Joe Root passed him, and
Oh,
he's
and
waiting to
yeah.
get his 10,000 run as well.
Yeah,
He's
then
waiting to get.
that okay, yes, definitely. And speaking of Steve Smith, I think you might also remember there was a documentary called The Test, and in that video where you see the Australians really bashing the bats and like that happened in Sri Lanka. So we mustn't forget that also because like it really shows like even though they're playing against Sri Lanka, the aggression, the passion, all of that that was clearly evident even in that series because
Yeah,
that happened in Sri Lanka like most of the footage
yeah,
that was there so it's another thing to remember.
yeah. Great. Okay, Akhila. So to conclude, it was a great discussion. I mean, great discussion. We have talked about some great memorable moments. I mean, whoever who's watching this might get memories of those matches. Some
Yes,
must have gone to the ground and watched it. Some
yes.
must have watched it on TV. I hope they get some memories and remember those things. So before we conclude, uh, what's your prediction for the series?
Personally, I think I mean I don't want to be too optimistic, but I think I think Sri Lanka will not lose this series.
Yeah,
In favor, it would be two nil, or it can be one nil or 1-all. But I don't see Sri Lanka losing right now because I think we have seen like when once the pressure is gone, like they are a complete different team. So I hope that with the time comes that even with pressure they are able to uh, bring out their best cricket. So rather than waiting for a no pressure situation, because I ideally if uh, like this, if the match had drawn on the last day, then this series would have been a decider for Sri Lanka on a certain condition. But now that Sri Lanka is absolutely out of the World Test
we
series,
have nothing
I
to lose as well.
don't
No,
think
Sri Lanka doesn't
that's the
have
thing. So
nothing to lose
because we
in
don't
their
have anything to lose, they will, try everything to, win it because that's nothing, you know, uh, let's just say there's nothing to lose. So I think there's something to really look
But
forward.
point to prove, as we talked
Yes,
earlier,
that
point to prove.
we are not really done yet. I
Yeah,
hope that fighting we haven't lost touch of that
yeah,
fighting spirit and have a good run at home coming back from a serious defeat against New Zealand at the start of the year. So
yeah,
that's something to look forward to.
yeah. I think we should bring our Aussie mentality in Sri Lankan style.
Yes,
I
yes,
think that's what we
definitely.
should do. That's what we should do. I think our guys will bring that definitely. Really hope that happens. And I was very sad that they gave just one day match for our guys. I mean, that
Yeah,
is
but luckily we
one of
got
the
two. So
craziest things. Yeah,
yes,
I mean,
yes.
test match is fine. It's like a practice match for them to go to Pakistan. That
Champions
is
Trophy,
very
yes.
sad. Yeah, that's very sad. Anyways, I hope our guys will give some youngsters some chance to perform in that match and just treat it as a practice match from our side as well.
Yeah,
Like
no,
give some,
like yeah, no Champions Trophy, no WTC final. So I think this is an okay time to experiment a bit and you know because like I
see
said,
what is, yeah,
it's uh, it's something that we need to look into the future. uh,
Long-term investment, isn't it?
long
Correct.
term, because I don't think short term solutions are the way to go. We
Yeah,
need to start thinking long term.
great. Okay, Akhil. So it has been a very nice chat with you, and I really love talking with you. I mean,
Yes.
it's a, I mean, it was a very, I didn't, I mean, we have talked to almost an hour and don't know
Yes.
how the time went. So thank you so much for joining chat with, I mean, accepting my invitation. And it's really nice to, talk to you like this. And let's hope to have a chat in the future. And I
Yes.
wish you all the very best with the sidelines.
Thank
I'm
you
just
very
looking
much.
forward to your articles, and
Yes. Yes.
hopefully, I get to see your articles and read about it, and um, looking forward to connect with you in the future as well. So thank you very much. Estopa Pechua, and I wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing this video and more chats with Chamindra.
Cheers. Cheers, Aguila. Okay then.
Okay.
Have a nice day.
You
Okay.
too.
Okay. Bye.
Yes. Good night.
Bye.